Thanks for staying with us. We're staying on the African continent. In 2024, sub-Saharan Africa accounted for 16% of the world's population, but 67% of the people continue to live in extreme poverty. Two-thirds of the world's population in extreme poverty live in sub-Saharan Africa, rising to three-quarters when including all fragile and conflict-affected countries. Now, in a bid to address this, Global Citizen, which is the world's leading international advocacy organization, is working on bringing an end to extreme poverty through its Move Africa initiative. This initiative seeks to address inequities and showcase the best of Africa to the world through a pioneer music touring circuit across Africa. This year's tour will begin from Kigali and then to Lagos in February. Now, ending poverty seems like a tall order, but let's speak to the person who belongs to that organization trying to do it. Joining me to discuss the Move Africa initiative is Vice President, Global Policy and Strategic Relationships, Global Citizen, Liz Agbotabi. Good to have you join us.
Thank you, Precious. It's a pleasure to be here.
So, when I hear people say we want to end the hunger in a certain area, it seems a bit realistic, but globally, it seems like a very tall order, considering that people are constantly being thrown into poverty. I just wanted to ask why this initiative?
Precious, poverty is a man-made problem and is a problem that can be resolved with all of our combined efforts. Global Citizen is a leading advocacy organization on a mission to end extreme poverty. Now, I know it's an ambitious mission that we're on, but it's a mission that is achievable. Through Move Africa, which is our latest initiative with an Africa focus, we're planning to do this by raising awareness, driving investment, and creating jobs within the creative economy. Africa is one of the youngest continents on the world, with the median age being 19. And by mid-century, Africa will comprise 25% of the world's population. And the youth in Africa can be an asset versus a liability if we invest in the youth, if we invest in the creative sector, if we create jobs. This will give youth an opportunity to earn livelihoods and to really leverage their creativity as an economic good for development.
So let me just ask, for anyone who is watching and wondering, what's your success rate so far? Talk to us about that.
Global Citizen was founded in 2008, and since 2008, we've mobilized $49 billion and impacted 1.3 billion lives through our advocacy, through our fundraising efforts. We've been able to work with local partners, with other NGOs, with civil society organizations, with like-minded organizations that are also committed to this ambitious yet achievable goal of ending extreme poverty for all.
So when you say impacted, I know you mentioned the creative industry. What does impacted mean? 1.9 billion people you mentioned. Do you have a system of monitoring that impact, and what does impact mean?
We have a rigorous monitoring and evaluation criteria and methodology which we use. And what we do is we use our platform working with everyday global citizens, so individuals like you and I, agnostic of where they're located across the globe. They're able to sign on to the Global Citizen platform. They're able to use their voices. We use music as our currency for connecting the world. Music is a universal language of connectivity. And individuals like you and I are able to go on our platform, take action, and compel decision makers to make the investments, to make the policy changes that are required to eliminate poverty. And so we've been doing this since 2008 with much success. And we're looking to bring this model, what we call our Pop and Policy model, here to Lagos on February 25th. I'm sure you've noted on February 25th, we'll have an event here headlined by multi-platinum
and that's the question I wanted. That's the Move Africa. And I was wondering how it ties into all of this, ending poverty. and music, I'm sure. You know, people are wondering, how does it tie into all of this? Just explain that.
How does pop-in policy work? I think that's the question. Yes. And so we work with everyday artists, activists who use their platforms and their voices to amplify our advocacy, and they work with young people. So for example, young people are able to go to our platform and take action, which means doing things like signing petitions, getting educated on an issue so that they can craft their own advocacy messaging. And in doing so, they're able to earn points, which they then use to earn access to our music events. And so
for those who do not have points to get access, do they have to pay for tickets?
Well, so what we've done in the past 2 years is, knowing that data can be cost prohibitive for many youth in Africa. We also have a WhatsApp system that young people can log onto and participate and earn tickets. And then we have a select few tickets that are available for sale for individuals who don't want to go through that process.
And so for proceeds from tickets like that, where do they go?
So they support our campaign efforts, and they support our advocacy efforts, and drive the impact that we've been able to achieve since 2008.
Okay, so I want to go back again to impact, because I know that that's what really pushes people to want to support, whether through advocacy or funding or financing, whatever it is. If you say impact, which I was asking earlier, for the individual, because it's really about ending poverty, and poverty is about people. And so for individuals, which is 1.5 billion you've helped in the past, since 2008, what exactly do you do with them and for them?
You know, it's interesting, when most people think about impact, they think about direct service provision. They think about organizations that provide direct meals or maybe shelter or health benefits.
Or handouts.
Handouts, exactly. But advocacy is a key component of driving that social and economic impact. So for example, when we had Move Africa in Rwanda in 2023, we created 1,000 jobs that went to local Rwandans. 75% of our crew was comprised of local Rwandans. We had job training and upskilling for members of the crew that contributed. So creating social and economic benefits. We were able to work with a group of basket weavers, women whose baskets had only been used for sort of traditional uses. We were able to integrate their baskets into the set design, showing them a new way of leveraging their art form. And that's one of the ways that we work. Historically, we've worked with NGOs, we've worked with civil society organizations that are in fact direct service providers. We've worked with international NGOs as well as local NGOs to implement vaccination programs, for example. So while we don't provide direct services, we mobilize the policy to drive that direct service provision. We mobilize the resources, the financial and otherwise, to be able to implement those programs on the ground.
That sounds to me like addressing the root cause.
Absolutely.
Of the problem.
And systemic challenges. I think that our approach is really about addressing those systemic barriers to access, those systemic barriers that prevent a segment of the population from escaping extreme poverty.
Well, it's February the 25th you mentioned. I'm sure everyone is looking forward to that. You can go to the website and endpoint and have access to those tickets. Thank you so much for your time. The Vice President, Global Policy and Strategic Relationships, Global Citizen, Liz Agbotabi.
Thank you, Precious.